Even before we take a look at the dailies, there's one comment that ule party leader alisema jana akiwa State House, alisema there's too much democracy.
Yes.
Sometimes I feels like there needs to be some bit of benevolent dictatorship.
Yes. Yeah.
Coming from a pro-democracy family. Watu wamekasirika.
Yes. Kuna nyingine pia ile wa Treasury alisema. For a country to move forward, there needs to be some sort of disruptions. The country needs to be disrupted a little bit. Lakini unajua watu watachukulia hiyo vipi, that statement?
Well, one of the biggest discussion points, away from Kalou, definitely. Do we have too much democracy in Kenya? Is it becoming a problem to govern this country because of the level of democracy? What do you think? Anyway, let's take a look at the dailies this morning. We start off with the Standard. Untouchable cop, that's the front page of this paper. Apparently there's an OCS who is untouchable. A young woman is fighting for her life after she was allegedly pushed from a 6th-floor apartment in Kasarani, leaving her paralyzed. At the center of the allegations is a police officer who was demoted from OCS rank over alcoholism. 4 days later, the officer, whose whereabouts detectives know, has not been arrested, prompting fresh questions over the pace and handling of the investigation. So they have images of this officer who was demoted from the rank of OCS before this incident happened, and is seen at an entertainment spot. Anatoa moshi kweli kweli.
It's a man?
No. This is a lady.
Women anatoa moshi?
Yes.
Okay.
She was OCS Kasarani. And according to this paper, she had been demoted because of alcoholism. And she was apparently she was in a relationship with this lady, this girl who's now in hospital, who apparently fell from the 6th floor of a building. So it's one of those stories, and it's becoming rather common to see such occurrences where people fall from high-rise buildings, and you wonder, okay, can it be coincidental? What is happening? Why is it that we are now getting these accidents, so many of them? High-rise buildings have always existed.
Yeah.
Why is it happening now that people are dropping from 6th floor, 5th floor, especially after engaging in sherehe? What happens next? Yeah. So it's still being investigated, though.
Could be crime of passion?
I do not know. Yes, all those are possibilities. And I think those are some of the leads that investigators are following up. So you can read more on that story on page 4 of this paper, where they explain police officer who's under scrutiny after a woman plunges from 6th floor. Na zile picha zote wanatumia za huyo askari anatoa moshi. Kwani?
Rogue police officer.
Yeah. Anyway, other stories here on the inside pages. Group wants speaker out of campaigns. We'll be discussing that. Speakers wote wawili, ule wa Senate Jeffa Kingi na National Assembly Moses Wetangula, wanasema a group has gone to court saying they should be locked out of campaigns. Yes. Other stories about university intake and enrollment. The COOPS has placed 202,133 students into different universities. Handling of Kalou by election puts 2027 polls at risk. Wameonekana ile picha wametumia pale on page 7. Watu wa Kalou wamepewa mattresses mingi sana. And they are all branded Government of Kenya.
Yeah.
Government of Kenya distributes mattresses.
Ndio hiyo tumeona. Ni kama nimeanza sasa.
Mbona una brand? Ni kama upatikane kwa nyumba yako uko na ile
MOH.
KNH. Ama Kenyatta National Hospital bedsheet. Yes. So uko na mattress ya Government of Kenya. Ndio usisahau what you're sleeping on. Who's providing the comfort for you?
Yes. Uamka ndio upige kura.
Ukiamka hivyo unaona GOK, unakumbuka ni serikali inaleta hii raha mtamu namna hii. Internal wrangles hit opposition in push to name 2027 flag bearer. That's another story. There's a lot of back and forth, especially that's on page 9 of this paper, and on who should actually, what method should they use, the United Alternative Government, to pick their flag bearer. There's an even bigger headache. Western Kenya, Sifuna, Natembea, wameleta shida, not just on that side of the political divide, even on the Kenya Kwanza side. Everyone is wondering, and it's on the front page of one of the papers. We'll be looking at it shortly. So those are just some of the big stories. Nyuma, of course, a focus on the World Cup and the very first quarter-final match to be played later tonight. Mbappe of France versus Hakimi of Morocco. Friends off the pitch, rivals in the quarters. Tonight's match will be a repeat of the 2022 semi-final between France and Morocco. Atlas Lions are out to revenge their 2-0 defeat to Les Bleus in Qatar. Yeah, so 11 p.m. tonight, the big match. This is the only African team, Morocco, still at the World Cup. I know they're not probably the darling of the continent, but they're the only African team. Yeah. So tutaenda kusupport watu wengine ndio kuna mtu wetu. Anyway, that's the Standard, the bold newspaper.
All right, you got DRC, bado wako na Ebola. Yeah, the Standard has also talked about it. 521 have been killed.
Have died?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ebola. Taifa Leo, mvua ya pesa na miradi. Huku uchaguzi mdogo wa Kalou unaopangiwa kufanyika Julai tarehe 16 ukikaribia, upinzani umekita kambi eneo hilo, huku serikali ikiongeza kasi ya kuzindua miradi ya maendeleo. Miradi hiyo ni pamoja na usambazaji wa mitungi 20,000 ya gesi, matangi ya maji, magodoro, vyakula, vifaa vya kidijitali kwa shule za sekondari, msingi, pamoja na boti 2 za thamani ya shilingi milioni 5 kwa bwawa la Kiongo. Ni kampeni iliyotajwa kuwa ghali zaidi katika historia ya kaunti ya Nyandarua. Mamilioni ya fedha zatumika kushawishi wapiga kura, huku miradi ya maendeleo ikizinduliwa eneo la Kalou. Hizo vitu zote ziko katika ukurasa wa mbele ya gazeti hili. Gesi pia mmepatiwa pale. Is it 8 kg this one? 8 kg gas. Kuna blankets. Mattresses. Unalala, usisahau kuamka uende upige kura.
Unaanzia kwa boat. You go fishing, you come with fish. You use the gas given to you by the government. Unachoma hiyo chakula mzuri, unakula. Unalala kwa godoro ya government of Kenya na unajifunikia blanketi ya government of Kenya. Kesho asubuhi ukiamka unasema siendi kazi. I have all I need.
All you need iko hapo, chakula pia uko nayo umepatiwa hapo. Pesa pia umepewa.
Hadi kuna pesa.
What an interesting time.
And you know, a lot of people in places like Kalou and Nyandarua depend on manual labor on farms.
Yes.
They don't, many of them are not really in formal employment. So you have to wake up, go do some work somewhere, get some 500 bob or something. Now, if you've already been given that 500 bob, why should you go work?
Is it okay, nilisikia mahali, iko verified, 2,000 per day.
Hii nilo wanapewa sasa?
Per day, yes. The campaigns.
By elections.
Labda mtu aliniambia, alinidanganya, lakini tuambie if that is the case, na kama mattress ziko warm pia talk to us, tuambie. Tuwasikilie wivu. Vidokezo zaidi, transformer Mbeere zaondolewa. Wakazi Mbeere walio kuondolewa kwa transformer baada ya uchaguzi mdogo. Oh wow.
Zimeondolewa?
Baada ya uchaguzi mdogo. Kalou.
No, lakini kwani watanyang'anywa magodoro?
Mattress. Unaambiwa leta hiyo mattress hapa ukuamka kwenda. Ni msimu wa kuhama vyama. Ni habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa 4. Nigeria, South Africa zarushiana makombora. Nigeria yatishia kuchukua hatua iwapo raia wake wataendelea kuuawa Afrika Kusini. Hawa ni kama hawatawahi wacha vita. Nigeria and South Africa, those ones are notorious. Lamu, roho juu kuhusu kiwanda kipya cha mafuta on the top strip. Ni habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa 5. Na mkosi Afrika kubanduliwa dakika za jioni pamoja na marefa wasiofaa, timu za Afrika zapoteza umakini na kufungwa kiholela. Tuko na Morocco bado kule. Yes, that's Taifa Leo.
Let's take a look at the Star. It has one of those stories that we'll be looking at. What's happening in Western Kenya. Big test for Musalia, Weta. Big test for Musalia, Weta. In Sifuna, TAWE Western onslaught. So this combination between Sifuna and the governor from Trans Nzoia, George Natembeya, is causing sleepless nights for Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi, who have been known to be the big pins of Western Kenya politics. So there's a divide there, and this story is on page 4 and 5. Linda Mwananchi and TAWE close ranks to ring-fence vote-rich region. So Speaker Moses Wetangula and his brother, if I may call him that, Musalia Mudavadi, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, on one side, with some senior officials like Polo Tuoma, Wycliffe Oparanya, Fernandes Baraza, those governors on one side. The other side is Sifuna, Natembeya, and this newfound coalition that is causing problems not just for Musalia and Weta, but also for the United Alternative Government, because now it's as if they will need to ensure that they work with these people. How they'll do that, I do not know. People like Majimbo Kalasinga on that side, Godfrey Osotsi, Jack Wamboka. This is a big discussion. We'll be having it later on with my panelists. And it's the front page of the Star. It forms a spread on page 4 and 5. Other quick highlights on the front page of this paper. Pale chini, how 2025 KCSE candidates have been placed in universities and colleges. We mentioned this in the other paper. I was looking at the Standard. Another story, after failed mediation efforts, McTAWE family back in court in 10 billion shilling succession battle. Yeah, familia McTAWE. You know McTAWE?
Niambie nani? Tuambie. Tell us.
He was in Kalou. He was a fixer for President Daniel Moi. And I think probably the one thing I can remember, he was a nominated MP. And he's the one who had to vacate his seat for Uhuru Kenyatta to become MP.
Wow.
For the very first time. Uhuru Kenyatta tried to get the Gatundu South seat. He went, akashindwa properly. But President Moi really wanted him in government, and you couldn't become a minister if you're not a member of parliament. So they asked McTAWE to resign as MP so that Uhuru Kenyatta could become a nominated MP and eventually be appointed in cabinet. Yeah, McTAWE. Yeah. Pale juu, Labour Court declines to stop trade union elections on Sabbath. Watu wasifanya election on Saturday. Watu wa SDA wamezusha. And trouble for aspirants as IEBC opens door to big money campaigns. Yeah, campaign financing and the caps that the IEBC is proposing. On the back page, tears of relief, they ask. Messi adds another chapter to World Cup career. Remember, Argentina is one of the 8 teams in the quarterfinals. They'll be facing who? I know they beat Egypt. Oh, they'll be facing Switzerland this weekend in the other quarterfinal. I think on Sunday in the other quarterfinal match. So at least Messi has beaten Ronaldo, at least by 1 game, and may continue to beat him further. That's the Star, fresh, independent, different. Grab yourself a copy of this paper for only 60 bob. All
right. Let's take a look at the Daily Nation now. Ex-EPRA boss tortured, workers over 96 million shillings. On Saturday, June 27, 4 employees of Tarita Group Limited gathered at the firm's offices on the 5th floor of Tarita Center in Eldoret for what they believed was a routine monthly financial meeting with their boss, former Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that is Director General Daniel Kiptoo. But this was no ordinary meeting to reconcile accounts, as it turned into a harrowing ordeal over missing cash based on their testimony and a police report. Right, this is a story on page 4 and 5. No comment. Kiptoo did not respond to queries about the serious allegations by 4 employees.
Did you say they were stripped naked? I thought I saw that somewhere. I'm not sure.
Where are they? This is a story on page 4 and 5. Yeah, you can grab a copy of the Daily Nation and read more about it. Wacha tuangalie ndani. Employees accused former EPRA boss of torture. Yeah, that's all they say. That 4 staff members of firm associated with Mr. Kiptoo say that, they were stripped, beaten, and forced to transfer their properties to cover amount they were accused of stealing. Sasa kama...
Well, it's a serious one.
Yeah, labda walikuwa stripped, walitolewa tu shati.
Hata kama ni shati peke yake, hata kama ni socks.
They were stripped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's serious crime, you know.
Yeah. Wanasema pesa ambayo iliibiwa, it's about 96 million. Well, okay. That's sad. 9,000 varsity qualifiers shun degree for diploma certificate courses. Yeah, that is nearly 9,000 students who qualified for university admission in the 2025 KCSE examinations did not apply for placement to universities, but instead opted to pursue diploma and certificate programs. Unapata A, unaenda kufanya diploma ama certificate.
Yeah, people are opting for diplomas now. Degree not really necessary, but it's true. Diplomas are rather a bit thorough, especially if you're learning a skill. Yeah, a degree could be more theoretical.
Yeah.
So people are opting more for certificates that guarantee them a new skill.
Yeah.
Or qualifications for a new skill.
All right. Driver of historic Miradi truck dies on Sabasaba Day. Yeah, another historic event hapo. Very interesting story on page 2. Condolences to the family. Sasa huyu ni ile alikuwa na drive ile rally ya kina Orengo.
That's a famous photo with Shikuku up there and Orengo with their arms held high.
That driver is dead.
That's a nice piece of journalism. They actually went and looked for the guy who drove that car.
Yeah.
No one had ever even bothered to talk about that driver. Yeah. Interesting.
Harvest time, it's raining money and goodies in all Kalou. We've talked about that. And Dangote lays the ground for region's largest oil refinery in Kenya. This is on page 12. Mnakumbuka ile siku Samia Suluhu akisema ati Rais William Ruto said there will be a refinery in Tanzania, but she wasn't consulted about it. Right. Sasa that one, because I don't know if it's because Samia Suluhu alisema hivyo, but that refinery is being built in Lamu. Will be built in Lamu. A date has been set, but President William Ruto did not reveal the date. Akiongea jana in State House. So they say Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote's plan to set up a 7,000 barrels per day oil refinery in Lamu will become Nigeria's second major petroleum investment in Kenya. Right. Yeah, President Ruto says date for groundbreaking ceremony for project in Lamu already set, but fails to disclose it. Yeah, alisema yakuwa consulted, President William Ruto akasema leta huku kwangu. Aya.
No delays.
No delays. World Cup on the back page. Today, France versus Morocco, 11 p.m. Tomorrow, Spain and Belgium, 10 p.m. Alafu Sunday, Norway, England at exactly 12 a.m. And then Argentina and Switzerland, 4 a.m. on Sunday. Yeah.
Right.
Daily Nation.
From the Star, let's take a look at the People Daily. Are Cabinet Secretaries Ruto's new campaign machine? That's a question, and it links very closely to the story we've just looked at about Ol Kalou. We've seen quite a number of Cabinet Secretaries, even PSs.
Yeah.
Now, are the ones distributing these mattresses and boats and railway and everything else big and shiny stuff in Ol Kalou. So the question is, are they the ones? And you know, one thing people don't understand is that there was this conflict of interest bill that was passed by Parliament, which now allows Cabinet Secretaries to take part in politics.
Yeah.
Initially, there was that debate, oh, should they not? Now they are allowed by law. But PSs are not.
PSs?
They are not. Principal Secretaries are not allowed. It is Cabinet Secretaries who are allowed. I think I saw one PS, I think the PS for energy, distributing those gas cylinders. But he may argue he was not campaigning. He was simply rolling out a government project or program. Yeah. So that's the question. But on the People Daily, they're talking about the CSs who it would appear the president is using in his campaigns. They ask the question, are these President Ruto's new campaign machine? Hassan Joho, Alice Wahome, William Kabogo, Rebecca Miano wa tourism, Lee Kinyanjui trade, Aiden Duale health, Wycliffe Oparanya cooperatives and SMEs, and Geoffrey Ruku public service. These are perhaps the most vocal on the campaign trail. Are they the new campaign machine for the president? That's the question. Inside the president's battle to reclaim Mount Kenya region is another story on page 6. Upande wa juu, rising urban population that is causing political threat in Kenya. It's all about politics on this paper. But there's one story that could be interesting to motorists. Why your next car inspection could cost 500,000 shillings in fines. Chunga sana. NTSA have actually made a lot of proposals, including instant fines. Now there's also that proposal to have vehicles inspected, including private vehicles, to inspected after certain periods, and it's mandatory. And if at all you do not comply, kuna ile pesa utapigwa faini. That's the People Daily, People and Politics. Grab yourself a copy of that as well. All
right. Business Daily, wealthy investors book 40 billion shillings gains on Nairobi's Securities Exchange rally. Bouse adds about 1.29 trillion shillings total wealth in 12 months. And bank stocks generate the largest gains for market tycoons. Yeah, the wealthy investors are here. Ho Kenyatta being one of them. That is a non-executive director, NCBA Group. Kenya's foreign investment inflows hit a record 414 billion shillings. That's another story on page 2, about 37.7% rise. On the ticker, betting firms to lose license for enticing gambling addicts. Betting firms that entice addicted punters who have sought to be banned from gambling will have their licenses revoked in a movement to tame the gambling craze. Yesterday, Business Daily bado ilikuwa ina report that now families and these betting firms can block you if you are addicted and you want to be blocked. Sasa, if you are enticing addicts, you lose your license if you're a betting firm. Government to have final say in Safaricom's new regional expansion and pension schemes. Mint record 16 billion shillings from bonds shares sale. That's the Business Daily. All
right. Let's cross over to Uganda now. Take a look at what's big there. Remember, we still do not have the Daily Monitor. But we do have the New Vision. And on the front page of this paper, they're talking about malaria deaths sparking stricter school rules. So there are serious concerns by medics over rising severe cases, especially in schools. Malaria, big story on the front page. I'd seen another headline about malaria in one of our dailies, and I'm looking for it, Saisi Yoni. But for some reason, we are talking about malaria in 2026. When we should be talking about how it has been eradicated everywhere. But malaria is still a big story. So that's a big story in Uganda this morning. In Tanzania, we go straight to the New Vision. Sorry, not the New Vision, the Citizen rather. How long will businesses suffer from protest fears? Hata wale wana shida, wako na manunguniko na a bit of anxiety, especially around protests. Which just like in Kenya affect them the same way, especially businesses. While the anticipated protests largely did not take place on Sabasaba, authorities deployed security personnel in major urban centers as a precaution. Such measures come with costs to taxpayers, just like in Kenya. Oh, the police blocking roads into the CBD. The same thing happening in Tanzania. If the anticipated protest, police wanakuja wanajaa kila mahali, then you can't do anything. You can't even open your business. That's Mwananchi. Gazeti la, that's the Citizen. Gazeti la Mwananchi, ni nini mwisho wa kauli za vitisho maandamano? Ni habari ile ile. Ni swali linalogonga vichwa vya Watanzania wengi. Wachambuzi wabainisha majawabu, washauri namna ya kuondokana na mtanziko huo unaojirudia kila mara. Maandamano. Hofu haijengi uchumi, athari kwa taifa. Yeah. So fear around protests, big story, big discussion in Tanzania. Now, let's come back home and take a look at the caricatures today.